Hi guys, Miss Stang here again. I hope you all had a very safe, very happy little weekend. If you did not, please, oh please try again. So today we're going to be discussing the fall of Rome, which is chapter 1, section 2. Our essential question for today is, was the fall of Rome inevitable? So meaning, was it going to happen no matter what? Or could the fall of Rome have been prevented? This is going to kind of be our big question for this chapter. So Diocletian became emperor in 284 AD, and to bring order to the empire, he introduced a number of reforms. We talked about the empire growing too large last week. It became inefficient to rule. So Diocletian's going to divide the empire into 4 parts with 1 ruler per part to kind of make it a little bit more manageable. He set the prices of goods and wages to keep prices steady, so to keep things from inflating. Inflation's going to be one of your vocabulary words tomorrow. Inflation means when the prices of goods are steadily rising, but wages aren't keeping up. So people aren't able to afford the new price of goods because their wages are still lower. So he's going to set the prices of goods and wages to kind of keep things steady and keep inflation from happening. And these reforms are going to ultimately fail because rulers often fought and didn't have the power to continue the changes. So it was kind of a smart idea to create 4 parts with 1 ruler per part, but then instead of fixing the empire, these rulers started to fight with one another. And with limited power, they weren't really able to continue the changes that Diocletian had put in place. The decline of Rome. So ultimately Rome, so when I say the decline of Rome, I mean the Roman Empire more specifically. So it's for a number of reasons. So 1, poor leadership, declining economy, and attacks by Germanic tribes weakened the Roman Empire. So as you guys saw on that map last week, the Roman Empire was huge, but it had borders, and on these borders lived Germanic tribes. And these Germanic tribes could tell that Rome was weakening, and they took advantage of those weaknesses, and they used that to their advantage to attack Rome. And over time, consistent attacks are going to weaken the empire slowly but surely. Factors for decline. So, kind of talked about those in the last slide, but let's talk about them in a little bit more detail. So, weak Roman government. The government was dishonest, and the officials provided poor leadership. Social problems. Famine and disease spread throughout the empire. Famine is basically widespread hunger. That means there's not enough food to feed everybody in the empire. And when people are hungry, people are unhappy. People have gone to war for being hungry. And a declining economy. So income wages fall and the wealthy fail to pay taxes. So the wealthy that have the most money aren't paying their taxes, but the poor who have the least money are being continuously being taxed. So this causes more disproportionate between the rich and the poor, and again creating more social problems, thus weakening the Roman Empire. Rome fails. So reform fails and Rome divides in 2. So Diocletian divides the empire. Yes, we have 4 parts, but there's 2 major parts, the eastern and the western, because the government has failed to keep order and violence and tension increase. So we have 4 rulers, but we have 2 parts, and eventually those 2 parts are going to be, or those 4 parts, excuse me, are going to be just considered 2 parts, eastern and western, and ruled by 1 person in each area. So let's look at the Western Empire first. So they're being attacked by these Germanic tribes, so numerous attacks threaten the empire. weakening it slowly from the outside in. Territory is lost slowly to invaders, so the Germanic tribes who are attacking slowly start to claim that territory and make it their own. And the city of Rome falls in 476 AD to Germanic tribes. So the Western Roman Empire is divided into various Germanic kingdoms by 550 AD. Now, if we look at the Eastern Roman Empire, this is going to become known as the Byzantium Empire, and Constantinople becomes the new capital. The empire survives attack and prospers. And this empire is created from the Eastern Roman Empire and lasts nearly 1,000 years. So while the East is strong, the West is failing, has fallen. So even after the West falls, the East continues to prosper. The legacy of Rome, which we'll talk about later this week more in detail, but Rome passed on many achievements in government, law, language, and the arts. So if we look at the world around us right now, government, a lot of modern democracies and republics are based on the republics of Rome. Law, Rome had some of the first law and order actually written down, Roman law. Many countries that followed, their laws were founded on the same foundations. Language, we talked about this last week, Latin. Latin was the language of government, economics, and policies, the world language up until well into the 1500s. And the arts, especially architecture. If you look at places like Washington, D.C., many capitals around the world, pretty much any capital in any state, is modeled after Roman architecture. All right, guys, thanks for listening. Make sure that you complete your questions. You answer that essential question in your summary. So was the fall of Rome inevitable? And then hold on to these because I will check them later in the week. Thanks so much. Bye.